Any other discussion from the council? Or Madam Clerk? Oh, you. Madam Councilman. Go ahead.
Just a quick update on the upcoming election. We had our public accuracy test today and everything went well. It was quite fun leading up to it because we took delivery of early voting equipment last week, delivery of test ballots, all the fun stuff. And we were here, I think I left here about 9 p.m. on Saturday night, but we did get everything done. Obviously, we were ready for the test today, and I think it went very well. As always, it is a public meeting. Anyone is welcome to attend. Ballots have been continually going out. Drop boxes are being utilized throughout the city. Again, they are located at the Ford Senior Center, the Department of Public Works, the Taylor Library, and then there are two. One is on Pine Street and one is in the lobby here in City Hall. Also, just to address something that we've been getting a lot of questions on regarding why we have to choose a ballot type in this election. You have to choose either a Republican or a Democratic ballot if you choose to vote in the February presidential primary, because in Michigan we have a closed primary, which basically means parties have their own ballots and do not appear on the same ballot. So it's not a rule that the city of Taylor has made up. It's not new. It's been happening for as long as I can remember. It does get confusing because it only happens every 4 years and people forget. So you don't have to vote in this election. You're not declaring a party. If you do, you're not stuck to that party. You change your mind before November. I get that a lot. Well, I don't want to be stuck if I change my mind. So that's not true. You're not held to a party. And the next thing is early voting will begin on Saturday, February 17th. 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. are our weekend hours, and 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any further open business from the council? None? Please come forward.
Hello. You guys all received a packet from me with some pictures on it.
And if you could state your name and address.
Oh, sure. The name is Renee Scallions. Address is 7828 Buckingham Avenue in Allen Park. So, on June 9th of last year, my son was involved in an auto accident in Taylor on Ecorse Road. Everything regarding that accident is in the packet you received. As a result of the accident, his car did leak a little coolant that the fire department cleaned up, and I was charged $550 for it, which was paid. They put a little absorbent on it and swept it out. Nothing else leaked out of the car. Area towing was dispatched, towed it to their yard. Unbeknownst to me, Robert Spill Response and Restoration, which I found was a sister company of Area Towing, apparently came and cleaned up the area, which I'm not sure what they cleaned. But they sent a bill to our insurance company stating that I owed $8,500 in cleanup fees, which I didn't understand what that was. Which technically, or actually the total bill was $17,000. I got half, the other person involved in the accident got the other half. And it stated in the letter that I received, I was CC'd on, that if I didn't pay, or if my insurance company didn't pay it, I was going to be personally sued by Roberts. I tried contacting them on several occasions just to get clarification, because what they cleaned up, or what their cleanup fees did not match the accident that my son had. So I thought maybe it was a clerical issue. They went and returned my calls. My insurance company obviously denied their invoice. I thought perhaps maybe it was a clerical error, like I stated, until a handful of people reached out to me with the same itemized statement from Roberts for the same type of accident that was also cleaned up by the fire department. I actually took an itemized statement with the one that I gave you guys and went line by line, and it was the exact same with the exception of a couple line items. Sorry, I'm reading from my notes. So I guess I know Area Towing is contracted through the city. You can see my tow bill and storage fees were over $2,000. That was for 2 weeks exactly that they had my vehicle, which seems in excess of what they're contractually bound to charge. But also, so I have a couple of questions. One is, who at the city approves Robert's spill and response and restoration to clean up this type of accident? It's a very minor accident, you can see by the pictures. There's nothing else leaking from my son's car. And the fees that they charged were absolutely ridiculous, and you can see that in there. And I thought that spill response teams were only called out for large environmental cleanups, like 5 gallons or more. And lastly, who at the city, if there is oversight, who at the city is providing that oversight for area towing and now Roberts to ensure that they're valuing their eyes and crossing those T's and not overcharging the people of downriver? Because this bill is absolutely ridiculous. And it's not the first time that someone from downriver received this type of bill coming out of Roberts, who is owned by the same person as area towing.
Through the chair.
Councilman Johnson.
Yes, I know we have a contract with area towing. We do not have a contract with Roberts, as far as I know. It was never approved by us, so as far as I'm concerned, you're not allowed to work in the city, in my opinion.
Chairman,
Councilman.
I also been communicated with this individual as well as a few others. And I'll recap this in an email with some backup documentation. They have some questions, I guess, that should be answered. One, the responsibility for debris cleanup. I know in our contract with area, which I believe is the most recent one, which was in 2014, or no, 2014 I think was the exhibit of pricing, but I think there was something that was done that the contract just continued until an RFP was issued by this council. But if I'm reading the most recent language, when called to the scene of an accident, the contractor shall respond in an immediate manner, and it's the contractor's responsibility to sweep and completely remove all glass and accident debris from the roadway. It doesn't specifically say toxic substances, and I know the state statute also speaks to this with toxic substances, so that would be a matter that would need to be maybe looked at from a legal standpoint. In addition, in their contract, their general requirements, it indicates that the contractor shall submit to the city a continuously updated list of all companies, corporations, and partnerships in which each officer, agent, or employee of the contractor is affiliated and the type of affiliation. So one of my questions is going to be, did that happen? Because it is what appears to be an affiliated company. Issue 3 would be towing and storing charges. The towing and storing charges for the first year of this agreement, this contract language, shall be those which are set forth in Appendix A. Those may be increased by the CPI. No increase shall be applied unless approved by the Director of Police Services or his or her designee. So my question would be, if state law requires cleanup as part of the tow, is that rate all-inclusive of the full cleanup? And then another issue, assignment. In the contract, it says this agreement is not assignable by the contractor. Any attempt to assign or transfer shall constitute a breach of this agreement. So I guess by having Robert Spill respond, is that an assignment of the responsibility to clean up? And are they allowed to do that? Issue 5, if the Taylor resident rate program, is that still, I'm assuming that's still in effect as part of the contract. That specifically indicated that the following services are provided at no additional charge, which would be additional labor, on-scene cleanup, impound fee, lot fee, motorcycle dolly, oil dry, uprighting of the vehicle, and recovery within the roadway right-of-way. And I know Ms. Stallions is an Allen Park resident, but I do have 2 Taylor cases that received very similar bills. So that would be my question on that. I have a few more, so bear with me. I'm not going to detail all the charges, I'll send them, but there's drone charges and trucks with arrows. One of these accidents was on a side street. So I guess my question would be, in looking at these charges, can I read my motion that I have? Or do we want to have more discussion? I have a few.
You have a few motions?
I know.
Okay. Certainly can make a motion. I think having, much like what we talked about earlier, if we've got a hard copy,
I was working on this right up till the meeting, so
Okay.
I got some stuff late.
Chairman, point of
Yes,
information.
council.
So earlier when stuff was brought, it's like, well, could you please send it to us so we can look at it before we're making motions? And then, this is all, like, this is the first time I've seen any of this, so if we're making motions without, I mean, anybody can make any motion that they want, but I'm just saying that the backup provided, like, I would like to check into some of this myself, but, I mean, it's,
And I'm happy to postpone making the motion until the next meeting.
My
If there's any
thought was
urgent
being
issues.
consistent with directing the corporation council to, review the situation, review our statute, the contract. Certainly, we don't want him to be off the cuff here, talking about whether the very specifics of a contract. But certainly, we can direct him to review it.
Yeah,
and-
just one more motion.
Yeah.
Well, to not make a decision today on these, but to check into the contract and the language.
Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to point out that there was a meeting this week. We are doing our due diligence into this. Mrs. Winton did send this to my office, and we're looking into the charges and things that we think we need to look into as far as moving forward in the situation.
Is there a state grievance process?
I'm sorry?
Have you filed, is there a state grievance
I
process?
did file a complaint with that AG's office, yes.
And what is the status of that?
I have not heard anything back yet. I plan to reach out to them to see what the status is. Yeah.
Through the chair, that is the proper procedure
Oh,
as well, but we are.
But I just wanted to make sure that it's brought to the city's attention. I mean, if you guys are contracting this company, this is a representative of of the city, I think it's very important that you understand what this company is doing to the people of Downriver, not just your own city, which they're not supposed to be doing, but also to just the community as a whole, and all the surrounding cities. It's pretty bad, and I think definitely some due diligence. Yeah.
Chairman,
Council.
and my apologies, I have all intentions on sending it, but like I said, I'm happy to postpone and I will send all of the documentation that I do have. But I don't know if we need a motion to direct Corporation Council to review the current contract in place, to determine appropriateness of charges, assignment of contract, and the toll rates, what is included in the
I
toll rate?
believe
Or
Corporation
just asking
Council,
them to?
yeah,